All right, let's go. Welcome to Roger That, the fantasy football, not necessarily podcast, fantasy football podcast, fantasy football video. We're going to have the YouTube page up and running with these videos. Roger That fantasy football show, and we are starting it off with an absolute bang. We're going over the 2020 sleepers of this season. We got pretty much the best in the business right now, if I do say so myself. I mean, you got me, Ev. We got me, Ev, Jake, and then Cam, who lives and breathes. Like, Jake and I know our fantasy football stuff, but Cam, you go to sleep at night with fantasy football right next to you.
You know, the season starts right after that, right after the Super Bowl ends. The next day, it's, you get ready, you start doing some research, and then obviously you got to wait until the draft because all the rookies coming in. But yeah, it's nonstop.
How many mocks have you done so far in the off season?
It's a high number. You just always got to stay ready.
Countless mocks. You can't have too many mocks.
No, never. You got to test
mocking
strategies.
That could be our first T-shirt. Always be mocking.
Absolutely.
But like I said, we're kind of coming in with probably the most requested. We've tweeted it out at Roger That Pod on Twitter, and this was the video that was requested for us to launch our YouTube page with. Obviously, we have the history with the social media and helping you guys win your championships. As you know, we have your championship rings on lock. And, we decided to bring video to it. We think that that's going to be an awesome idea, really interact with you guys. And like I said, Sleepers, by far and away, was the voted launch video. So that's what we're diving into today. And we got Cam starting us off.
This player towards the end of last year, I mean, he was on fire. He's on the Las Vegas Raiders. It's Hunter Renfro. And in the last three games of the year, I know they had some injuries at receiver, so obviously he was going to get more of the target share. But I mean, he was averaging 7 targets a game. He had 2 100-yard games, and in the last 2 games, he was wide receiver 6 and wide receiver 8. And a thing for me, and I don't know about the both of you, what I look for in rookies is at the end of the year, are they more involved with the offense? Are they getting more comfortable? And I mean, for me, his role was growing. And I mean, he's always been that sure-handed receiver who, if you throw it to him, he's going to catch the ball. He's obviously works about 95% out of the slot. And in 13 games that he played, he handled, 18% of for a 5th-round pick is a pretty good target share, I would say. It's about 5.5 targets a game. And the thing that's crazy to me is I know they went out and drafted Ruggs early. They have Aguilar, Waller, obviously Jacobs. So, I mean, they have a lot of talent at receiver. But, I mean, if his ADP is 201 right now. And I'm not telling you that he should go in the first 5 rounds. He's going to be a wide receiver 1 or 2 because that's not what I think. I think he's going to be a viable flex play each week. I think that the more comfortable he's been getting in the offense, I think he has a better idea of Gruden's offense. And, I mean, finishing the year, he had 71 targets with 49 catches for a little over 600 yards. His yards per catch was a little over 12. So, I mean, yeah, he is playing the slot, but he is kind of running that intermediate route. And, I mean, he's someone that I think with Ruggs there who's going to spread and stretch the defense. But also Waller. I mean, Waller's an athletic tight end who is not just going to catch it 10 yards down the field. He's someone that can also stretch the field. And they also drafted Edwards too. So, I mean, they have a lot of pieces, but I think that he really cemented his role as their slot receiver. And I think that if you can get him in the 10th or 11th round, I'm telling you right now, there's value to be had with Hunter Renfro.
Yeah, I love that pick, Cammy. And, you mentioned Ruggs, but we saw what he did with Smith and Judy, allowed them to work out of the slot at Alabama. That top speed, takes away a safety. Those inside guys can really work over the middle. So I love that pick for you.
Yeah, and like you kind of mentioned too, I feel like he is the type of guy that is, let's go to the word trustworthy. He's the slot, and I'm not just painting he fits into that mold, but not going to go there. But he
First
is
one in, last one out, gym rat kind of guy.
Yeah. Wakes up earlier than everyone else, stays later. But no, he is that guy that's going to build more and more trust. So I only think that his target share and his targets per game are going to go up.
And I mean, like you're saying, I mean, look at him at Clemson. I mean, former walk-on. I mean, when Watson was the quarterback, I mean, talk about they need a big play. They need a third down conversion. I mean, the trust that Watson had with him, and I mean Lawrence had with him, not only on third downs, but just throughout the game. He was someone that just always seemed to get open. And if you're in a PPR or even half PPR, I'm telling you, if you target him, you're going to get a lot of value.
Yeah, I like it. And the only thing I'll say this, the only thing I don't like about him is Hunter Renfro's hairline. But you know what, Cam, that doesn't diminish your sleeper pick because he does wear a helmet. So I like it. I think that's honestly Hunter Renfro is going to become, and we've talked about this before. We've tweeted it out when we had Danny Amendola calling him Danny Big Time and whatnot. Hunter Renfro seems like the type of guy that if he does work out, he is that sort of Julian Edelman, Wes Welker making big catches and big plays. Now, are the Raiders going to be in that situation? Who knows? But he is going to be a guy that I feel, and I'm going to use this word again, he's going to be trusted in the offense, which I don't know if we've fully seen a trusted Hunter Renfro in the NFL yet.
A much improved Raider offense as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So Jake, why don't you snooze up?
I'm still mad that Renfro's not a Patriot. He was such an obvious fit for them. So the guy I'm looking at here is a quarterback, and we've seen the last couple of years that second year jump with Mahomes taking it, Jackson last year. Not to pat myself on the back a little bit, but I did grab both those guys late. Back-to-back
the worst
years.
Thing I've ever done was tell Jake he was like the quarterback whisperer.
A little bit of a quarterback guru. Just a little bit of a whisperer.
Went Mahomes and then Jackson. But hey, proof's in the pudding.
Yeah. So like a lot of the second year hype, and rightfully so, is going to be around Kyler Murray. He's a stud, and Kyler Murray's not my sleeper, by the way. But he, he's going to have a great year. He's prolific offense. He's got all the talent in the world. My only hesitation with a guy like Murray fitting that slot of Mahomes and Jackson is those two guys went late in the draft. Jackson was an ADP of 133 last year. Murray's going to be way up there in the draft, way up there. I think he's going to be a little bit overvalued going in. And so I would caution people not to reach on a guy like Murray. Instead, I like to go in the second wave of quarterbacks, even the third wave here. Guy you can grab maybe the very last pick or even, in a waiver wire. ADP of 261 currently, but a guy that I'm really high on is Dwayne Haskins for the Redskins. I laid a couple of factors out here that I'm big on for him. Started off slow, but we knew that was going to happen with him. He was raw, only had one season of starts at Ohio State, went to a really bad situation in Washington with coaching firing happening mid-year. But he finished the season pretty strong, 2 touchdown passes in the last 2 games. And he's coming into a better situation this year with Scott Turner, son of my guy, Norv Turner, as the offensive coordinator. The reason I like this marriage here is Scott has worked with some quarterbacks in the past that I think kind of mirrored Haskins' game in somewhat. He went and was the offensive coordinator or quality coach for the Panthers early in Cam Newton's career. He left and came back as the quarterback coach in 2018 when Cam Newton had a 69% completion percentage, his highest of his career. In the meantime, he was back in Minnesota as the quarterback coach working with Sam Bradford, and he turned him into a viable quarterback for that 1 year in 2016. And then when he went down, Teddy Bridgewater, who had a 85% or 85 QBR, which is 7th all-time for a rookie. So he's got familiarity working with young quarterbacks. I think having that sort of stability for Haskins is going to be huge. My only concern is the Redskins' lack of talent on offense. They have McLaurin, but other than that, not a lot of established targets for him. But they did go ahead and add 2 Antonio G's, Antonio Gibson and Antonio Gandy Golden. Both guys I'm high on. And a little bonus here, Antonio Gibson is a guy who may have a little bit of a Kamara-like surge mid-year next year. I'm calling it right now. Keep an eye on him in the waiver wire at some point.
There.
I know. Crazy. Lastly, with Haskins here, I know we have pretty high standards. I know Cam likes to keep it around 5% body fat. Evan's around 4. I'm around 4.5 myself. Haskins did tweet out that he's been working hard this offseason. He's down to 7% body fat. So he's trimming some of that little baby fat he had, these big puffy cheeks for Haskins. He's working on that. And I think he's going to be a guy that comes in next year. I wouldn't bank on him being your QB1, but he could be a guy you pick up late, as I said, or waiver wire even, that all of a sudden mid-season is lighting it up, and you're having the debate of, should I play Haskins? And that's the kind of guy, it happened with Jackson last year. It happened with Mahomes early. Those are the guys that win your league. So I would bank on Haskins late. He's worth a flyer, in my opinion.
And I think that when we think about fantasy sleepers, I think he fits perfectly because there was even talk that they were going to draft a quarterback in the first round.
Oh, yeah. Crazy.
I mean, talk about someone who was a chip on their shoulder. I mean, I know that he already had a chip on his shoulder because he slid in the draft, and now everyone's already counting him out. So, I mean, wouldn't it be great to see him kind of just prove a lot of people wrong and just to make the Redskins, really relevant?
Yeah, and like you said, most people count him out. He's got a chip on his shoulder, but the one thing, and this always makes for a good story, and two, kind of gives the guy a chance. His people, his team, his organization, they now believe in him. So whether or not the outside world doesn't believe in him or anything like that, you have an organization that now says, hey, you are our guy. And when he has that confidence, there's really no stopping him. And honestly, the biggest reason I'm agreeing with Jake is because he's right about every other quarterback he's ever predicted. So if you guys do want to get that next Lamar Jackson or next Patrick Mahomes, Jake, you really saying? Yeah. I mean, that's
I think he has the potential to be a guy that finishes the season as a top 10 quarterback that comes out of nowhere, and people are like, wow, I didn't see that one coming.
So confirmed here. Jake said next Patrick Mahomes is Dwayne Haskins. No, but I like that pick. And mine is in a little bit different of a direction. I think we've all come at it from different angles. Cam, you gave that sort of the guy that's going to take the next step. He's deep in the drafts. People are sleeping on him. Jake, you obviously are given that sort of next quarterback or a viable quarterback option late. Mine is weird because this guy, I mean, Todd Gurley, and obviously he's been injured. He's been banged up. He's been kind of, I would say, on a downhill decline here as opposed to an uphill decline. But he's mid-60s in terms of ADP. 19th, almost out of the top 20 in running backs off the board.
It's crazy.
Todd Gurley, this guy 2 years ago, or what? Yeah, about a year and a half ago at this point, was the number one guy in the league. He's only 26 years old, or he's turning 26. It's not like, and guess, I know I'm going to hear it. The injuries, that's the issue. The injuries, I understand that. But if you can take the chance on getting Todd Gurley as the 20th running back off the board, then you're not going to take the flyer on his knees on the chance that being in a new offense, being with, I would say, a far better quarterback, game manager, being back in Georgia like you played your college ball, are you not going to take the chance on Todd Gurley to, I'm not saying have another absolute like blockbuster season, but to give you, that sort of, just under 20 touchdowns on the ground through the air. Like Todd Gurley doesn't need to be the other Todd Gurley that we used to see. Todd Gurley can be the 8th best running back easily. And the fact that he's, getting drafted mid to late 60s or anywhere between 60 and 70. And then, there's I don't know off the top of your head, could you really give me 20 running backs that are better than Todd Gurley?
I mean, if you really think about it, I mean, there really aren't that many running backs at all that do what Todd Gurley does. Yeah. I mean, not only can he run through the tackles, I mean, once he gets to that next level, it's almost just a home run waiting to happen. But I mean, he blocked, and him out of the backfield, I mean, he was one of, if not the best running back receiver out of the backfield. So if he's sitting there and if he is going to be your wide receiver, or running back 2, or maybe flex, I feel like you'd be crazy not to take a chance on him.
And that's what I'm getting at here, right? So I'm not saying Todd Gurley is going to return to, the Todd Gurley form.
Value at his ADP.
To be a RB2, I mean, give me a break. Are you kidding?
Another reason I love that marriage is the Falcons are sort of win now mode, right? I mean, Matt Ryan's getting up there. Dan Quinn's on his last, strings. Dimitrov is on his last, breaking ice as well. Todd Gurley signed a 1-year deal there. So, the problem with the Rams is they try to preserve that knee, justify that long-term contract. the Falcons are going to have no hesitations just grinding Gurley out. I know that sounds bad, but they don't really care about his long-term health. So I think they're going to, use him as much as they can and kind of grind him out. So
he could
I think it's a great pick.
He could honestly be the premier guy in that offense. I mean, Julio Jones is getting up there too in age. Just like you said, Matt Ryan's kind of getting towards that point in his career. Like, I don't know. I mean, if you even get 80% of what Todd Gurley was, or say you even get a guy that's a fraction better than he was last year, you're getting a guy that's going to, score 15, 16 touchdowns and hopefully rush for a little over 1,000 yards. And you're getting him so late for what the reward could be for this so-called risk. I mean, it's you can't measure it. I think that Todd Gurley, if he's there late in the draft, I don't think you pass him up. And I think that that's probably the best way to put it. You can't pass Todd Gurley up when it gets later on in the draft because someone's going to take the flyer, and that flyer I think is most likely going to work out for them.
I can't believe we're having this discussion where Todd Gurley is in the fantasy sleepers. But I mean, if you think about it, and I've been doing some mocks, and everywhere I see, I mean, no Gurley in round 1, no Gurley in 2, sometimes Gurley round 3, and then Gurley in round 4. I mean, if I have the first pick of the 3rd round and I still see Gurley, there's no way that I can pass that up.
There we have it. We do have Hunter Renfro from Cam. We have Dwayne Haskins from Jake, Todd Gurley from me, all for different reasons. And we're glad that we could kind of bring you that value. And if you do need more sleepers, it's not like we each have these one sleeper in our pocket here. If you need more sleepers, you can reach out to us on Twitter at RogerThatPod. We're going to keep making more videos. And we have a few in the works right now in terms of brainstorming and putting them together. We got breakout players coming up, which is going to be an awesome video. And then we also have, which we are all pumped for, we are going to do a live mock draft. Cam, why don't you explain sort of the process to that? Because we are going to do a screen share as well. So you guys will be able to be right there for it.
On the big thing with mock drafts is, I mean, you can just mock for fun. You can just see what different, okay, I have the first pick. Let's see how my team will look if I have the 5th pick or the 10th pick. But the longer you play, the more you'll hear. And if you're on the ESPN app, the Yahoo app, you've probably heard of the strategy 0 RB or 0 wide receiver. And what we will be doing is each one of us, one person will be having the 0 running back approach. One person will be having the 0 wide receiver. And the final one is probably the most common. It's just best available. And looking at your roster, it doesn't matter. Wow, like I already have 2 running backs. I don't have a receiver. But if I see Todd Gurley there and he's the best available, I'm going to take him. I'm going to take the best people regardless of position and try to just fill my team out. And I know Jake is doing his wide receiver heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I know Evan's doing his running back heavy, which Evan actually does usually use that strategy.
That's actually Evan's strategy. So
Oh yeah.
Authentic.
I like thick boys.
And the big thing is, can you win your league waiting until round 3 or 4 for a running back? Of course you can. You can win your league with any approach. It's just the matter of finding the value in picks, because not every person you're going to pick is going to be top tier. You're going to miss on some picks, you're going to hit on some picks, and it's just a matter of finding that value and just kind of riding them out.
And I think that that's going to be a cool video. So that is in the works. We are going to have that for you guys. And like I said, we'll have a screen share. There's going to obviously be computerized as the other teams in the draft. So it's going to be us 3 in there, and we'll be able to talk through our thought process and whatnot too. So stick around for that. Make sure you are subscribed on YouTube. This is brand new for us. Obviously, like I said, we've been in the social media game, and we've helped plenty of you guys win your leagues over the past couple of years. But we're coming to you video now. We got YouTube. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video. And I want you to comment. I want you to comment who you think your biggest sleeper is, so that everyone else looking in the comments, they can get some other ideas too. So until next time, guys, the Roger That boys are out. We have your championship rings on lock.